I don't know if that picks up or not down there, but that's the water rushing, so you can see where it was. It's definitely gone down. It got up just a little bit on this. I guess this old abandoned building was a general store at one point way back in the day, but well, today's the day. I don't know if you can see me. We're about an hour away from the worst of the winds. I came out here because I heard some metal. Luckily, it wasn't from the roof. A piece blew off. I don't think I'm going to be able to move it back up here. It's our extra metal. But we got these big panels. I think I'll put a pallet on top of it to hold it down. And then that one too. I can't. It's like 40 miles an hour, 45 mile an hour winds right now. I'm not going to be able to move that big one up here by myself without it blowing away. So I just put a pallet on it. Everything else looks like it's holding up just fine. It's odd that that blew off. The buckets, the water buckets are still on top of the dang chicken tractors, but a giant piece of metal blew off. So I get that moved and go back inside. We'll wait it out. Like I said, we're about an hour away from the real bad part. I think it's kind of coming right at us, it looks like. So I guess we'll see. The sheep could care less. They're out here eating, hanging out. They don't even want their shelter. Just checked. Chickens are good. These are the big chicks here. Those are the little chicks there. They're both good. I'll put some hay on top of the big chicks to kind of give them a little bit more dry area. That seemed to work. It's holding up. Little chicks, I put some metal and a piece of wood to kind of block the wind. It's warm out right now. It's like 70 something degrees out right now, so I was worried that it might get a little chilly with the little chicks. They're not fully feathered yet with the wind and the rain, but they seem to be fine. Walk over to the turkeys now. Turkeys seem fine. It's wet in here. They'll get moved this afternoon once this thing clears. But they got some feed. They were in there. So I don't think the pigs are out. I haven't seen them yet this morning. So I think I'll wait to feed them until afterwards. I think the worst of it's supposed to pass here, like I said, in the next hour, hour and a half. And then we can go up and feed them. Everything still looks good with the house. So that's good there. I'm gonna let our layers out because it's so dark this morning that I don't know if this coop door will open in time. So they're kind of tucked back here behind the greenhouse, safe from the wind. The wind is coming directly that way, which kind of stinks for the camper because it's directly at the side of the camper. It's supposed to start moving around, but the worst of it's gonna, we got you, Rocky. The worst of it's coming right at the side of the camper. So far so good. Go inside. See you guys after the craziness is over. All right, I came up here to check on the pigs real quick. Their feeder blew over. Either that or they tipped it over, but they're doing fine. I'll fill that once this passes. They should be okay for a few hours. Oh, I guess I'm interrupting this morning, but I don't think that's how babies are made, Crispy. I'll leave you two alone. All right, this is the worst of it. I don't know how well you can hear me, if it's windy or not, but it is blowing hard. So far, so good. Camper's a little shaky. I don't know how the buckets on the chicken tractors, which are almost empty, have not blown over yet, but those trees are swaying like no other. I've never seen it like this before. I don't know if the camera does it justice, honestly. But we got another couple hours of this. Like I said, this is the worst. I think it's the worst for about a half hour, and then it'll start dying down, but it'll take a couple hours to die down. So I'm gonna go back inside. Well, the rain has subsided. I think it's a little sprinkling right now, but most of it has subsided. So it's just really windy still. We got another couple hours of this, and then it's supposed to die down, and then we'll have to go move all the animals and make sure they're good because they are all wet. But I guess we made it through the worst of it. Still pretty windy, but hopefully it passes quick. Go. Well, as I said earlier, they knocked that feeder over, so it got all muddy from their muddy mess they put in here. So we had this feeder. It's busted on the bottom because they gave it to the big pigs. Oh, they're a little freaked out by it at first. Yeah. But it'll be fine. We'll put one bag of feed in there, get this one rinsed out, and we'll go back to this one. This one we bought at Rural King. That first one we bought at Tractor Supply. I'll say that Tractor Supply one, it's taken a beating, but I've been able to repair it better. This one didn't hold up at all from Rural King, but might have to work on building a pig feeder because none of these hold up too well. Well, we have a little bit of blue skies. We had a little bit more. There's some over there. Although it was, did you hear thunder?
I thought so.
I thought I just heard some thunder. So we might get some more rain, but we're out here taking care of the animals because we gotta, oh, there's some right there. You see it? Right there. Right there. Blue skies. Look at all that blue sky. Anyway, we're out taking care of the animals because it stopped raining for a bit. I think it's going to start again here in a little bit, but the pond is completely full. And I don't know, I feel like it's more full than it's ever been, but I'm sure it's not because it's gone out the spill pipe before. But it's been so long since we've seen it full. It looks really full. But I would step down on the bank, but I cannot do that or I would get buried up to my boots. So anyway, we fared okay through what we got from the hurricane. The winds were howling there for a little bit in the camper, shaking it pretty good, but we filled obviously we can't fill the black tank until we use it, and we just dumped that. When did we dump that? 3 or 4 days ago? Yeah. Something like that. But we filled both of our gray tanks to add weight down low, and then with all the crap we got in there, we just had a couple shakes, but not too bad. So with that said, we will get back to our regular scheduled program now down there at that thing. All right, well, the flooding was pretty bad from all this rain, so we decided to take a ride, show you guys what it's like in our area. I took some drone pictures this morning. I'll put those in here now so you can see what it was like this morning. Now we're gonna go to those same spots and some other spots and see what it looks like. This is the first spot that we were at this morning. So you can see there's where the water was. It's definitely receded some, but it's still up super high. It's not flowing super fast. You can see how high it was on that barn. It's gone down a couple feet. And there is bridge up there, or was. Hopefully it's still there, but it is way underwater. So I try to zoom in here. I don't know if those are county officials or what. That guy is farthest out in the orange. He's not quite to the bridge yet. I don't know if it's just people playing in the water, which is not smart, or if they're checking to see if the bridge is still there. Also, probably not smart to walk out to see if a bridge is there. I'd probably try to do it another way, but that water's gone down. That's in the same spot, so that's gone down a little bit too. No, I don't think those are county people. Just randos playing in the water, which not very smart. All right, this is the other spot here. That blue roof over there is about 10 or 12 foot sidewalls on that barn, and that whole field across the street where those power poles are, that's all full of corn, or it was yesterday. But you can't see it at all now. So this morning when I was down here, this whole fence was covered in water. You can see over there on that barn maybe where the water level was, but you couldn't see any of this morning. So it's definitely gone down quite a bit. I'll throw the drone up here and see. I'm sure it's gonna look the same on the drone, but so you can see there, it's come down quite a ways from where that dirt line is. And that big field right here in the center is just a cornfield, or was a cornfield. In the top of the screen right now, you see the two lines of trees. That's where the river actually is. So it should not be as high as it is. That little half moon horseshoe looking area is a cornfield, and then the road is on the left side of it. That square box to the left side of the road, or the rectangle I guess, that's about 140 acre field for size reference. So right there about in the center of the screen, that's where a creek comes through, and then it meets up with the main river. You can kind of see the channel where it goes through those trees. There off to the right, you can see where the river kind of bends around and goes back down to the south. And you can just see how far back it's flooded out. The river does go back there where those four pond looking things are. It does go back that way and loops around. You can see the water was up quite a bit, and then as I zoom in here, or I come down with the drone, you can see that the water level on the barn there, so that second metal roof panel from the left, you can see that line. It's about 2 foot, 3 foot down from where it was at the height. I don't know if that picks up or not down there, but that's the water rushing, so you can see where it was. definitely gone down. It got up just a little bit on this. I guess this old abandoned building was a general store at one point way back in the day, but it's about to fall over and has been since we moved to the area. But last night over in there, so there's that green sign there and then that other sign, that's where the road goes through, and there was a car stuck over there last night. It was a minivan. It was about halfway up their wheels, but I would assume it's either completely covered or washed downstream at this point. So it's moving pretty quick through here, but like I said, it's definitely moving down, which is a good thing. So it's pretty crazy to see. I talked to some people who've lived here for a long time. They said they've never seen anything like it. The water levels, I guess, they're cresting at 22 feet, I think. And the only time it's been higher than that was in 1901 on this river. So it's pretty crazy. We'll keep going on to somewhere else and see what else. All right, so that water down there behind the trees is where the creek comes into the, well, that's actually a creek. So that's a creek that goes into the river. So right behind those houses, it's probably a half a mile to the river straight down. So that's how much the water's come up. It's come up a half a mile, and then however deep it is, and it's already gone down a bit. So it's pretty wild. This is back at that first area that we were at. You can now see the road. It's still covered right there, the bridge. But then the road opens back up. So off to the left is just a cornfield. Off to the right is actually state land. You can go hunting or do whatever on. And the river is way back at the top of the screen. So here someone decided to go to the other side. I think they're side by side and drove through. It went up to probably the top of the tires at the deepest point, so it wasn't too bad. All right, here's another area. So that building right there, those are chicken houses. The river is way behind it. You'll see here in the drone footage how much the river is up, but you can see that basically the front of the Jeep would have been where the water was, and you can see the level. That property that's right there just past this tree line is for sale, that my brother wanted to buy, but I think he won't buy it after this. So a crazy amount of water. We know the people that live back behind those chicken houses. There's one house behind those on the river. I don't know how bad, we haven't heard yet. I'm guessing they took some damage, but crazy amounts of water. All right, so as you saw down there, I'm guessing that bridge is completely gone. Probably was washed away because you can see the road buckle. So I would assume that there's a little bit of road there, probably buckled, and then that's where the bridge took off. So that's one way to get across the river for us. How well you can see it, the tomato farms over here, all their trucks have been down in there, so they were completely covered in water. And the water came all the way up here. You're good, I don't know, maybe not a quarter mile, but 1/5 of a mile away from the river. So it came up pretty high. That was an older bridge. I think it had a weight limit of like 3 tons or something like that. So it kind of stinks that it's gone, but a new one will be better there. It's the next day and we are headed to town because I think we're gonna lose water today. So we're gonna drive some of the same roads we went on yesterday. There's that barn that was flooded. You can see this road is open now. Water's still up quite a ways. But the road is clear. I don't see a road close sign, do you?
Nope.
So we'll see if it's open. So this was all underwater yesterday. Clear now. All right, so this area was all underwater. You can see it was over the road here yesterday. Of course, the Jeep's gonna get all muddy again. All this is all underwater. So this is that house that was all underwater yesterday. The drone kind of messed up. The gimbal on it got all jacked up. So the video is not great, but as you can see, the water's all receded. It's down. It's still flowing pretty good in the river, but it's not flooded. So that van I talked about earlier, it's still there. It has 4 flat tires. They're not flat, but the inside is full of mud. There's no windows left in it, so that's why it's just from the weight that there's no air in the tires. But it's still sitting right there in the middle of the road, which is actually pretty surprising. So what it looks like, but it's just a muddy mess right now. So TDOT was going through and they're going to open the roads, but they need to take a skid steer through and clear all the mud because it's inches and inches thick. So anyway, that's our area. Luckily we didn't have any damage from anything, but some of the other people are not so lucky. So that house right there is actually owned by one of our neighbors at our place. They own a piece of property next to us, so sounds like their camper and everything is total loss there. So I think they were staying there in that camper, but they said they're gonna go stay with some family around. So anyway, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and we'll see you on the next video.
Bye.
All right, so I had to go back into town this afternoon, so I figured I set the GoPro up and you guys can see what it looks like driving down this road that was closed off. This bridge was completely covered, as you can see from the stuff on top. State came in and plowed the road, that's why it's so thick on the sides, but you'll see up here some of these fields that the mud is super thick. That van was completely covered. That was the one that was stuck in the road down here. It's full of mud on the inside as well. So here you can see how thick that mud is. Street signs were covered. These houses stayed intact. They did not flood out.